Democrats have no message. Resist, obstruct, divide the country. These aren't messages that are resonating across the country. The president's talking about jobs, wages, national security, fixing health care. When you are putting forward a vision, that resonates. And the Democrats are floundering. They have no leadership and they have no message. And it's translating into their weak fundraising numbers.
For those that don't know, that's the chair of the Republican National Committee, claiming that Democrats' only message is to resist, obstruct, and divide.
And the Democrats are floundering. They have no leadership.
The projection from this party has become its only form of communication, especially that line about weak fundraising numbers. I guess she figured that no one would notice that her RNC is seeking a couple few loans to help dig out of their cash flow issues. And they're worse than you could imagine.
And we learned last night the RNC finished 2023 with $8 million cash on hand.
Which is like nothing.
Which is nothing.
Picture,
I mean, we probably have Senate campaigns, that haven't even got started yet that probably have that much cash on hand. It's the worst financial performance of the RNC in absolute dollar terms since 1993, and compounding that is just a string of losses. I mean, essentially, since she's been chair, the RNC has never won, or they've always fallen short of expectations. 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, and 23. 21, they kind of split the difference between Virginia and New Jersey. So I think that either she is going to be ousted or she's going to be layered.
Conservative pundits are willing to suspend reality to support Republicans' blatant lies about nearly anything. But when it comes to their money and how it's spent, Ronna McDaniel's getting audited.
The RNC, despite raising less money than the DNC, spent $1 million on management consulting. The DNC spent $114,000 on management consulting. What is management consulting?
Well, it's a category that really doesn't have a lot of deliverables. It has just coaching for executives. It could be almost anything that they decide they want it to be. It could also be not much of anything, something where they just want to toss some money to people. I'm not accusing them of saying that's what they did, but it's pretty nebulous and there's not really anything to show for it. Another really incredible line item is get out the vote texting. So since Ronna is spending $70,000 on flowers when the Democrats spend $700 on flowers, the Democrats, if they spent $235,000 on voter maintenance, the Democrats Republicans $40,000, but this is the kicker. GOTV texting. The Democrats spent $1.6 million to get out the vote. Republicans spent $86,000.
Flowers, limos, consultants. Republicans must feel that they need to feed consultants in order to formulate new ways to fool their voters into believing that they give a damn about even the culture war politics that they bathe in. So is anyone seeing that the majority of this party is more interested in window dressing than they are in representing the will of voters? Because recent elections have shown them that fewer people are buying it. But as long as MAGA continues to stick their heads in the sand, they'll continue to get their pockets picked for the sake of owning the libs.
So here's the takeaway. The DNC is running a lean operation, outraising the RNC, spending their resources on get out the vote, voter file maintenance. The RNC is not raising as much money, but it has this this incredible albatross of garbage.
And speaking of making bad decisions with money management, Mike Lindell isn't a fan of Ronna McDaniel's either, but naturally, he still missed the point.
This is the reason she said she's lost all these elections. This is Republican on Republican infighting. I'm not running for president, so I'm not in a primary. This isn't helping our party, she answered. We lost races, everybody, in 2022 because of fighting within our party. We need every Republican and then some to win elections. And here's the part I can't stand. And the Republican voters want to hear us talk about the border, fentanyl, Israel, our kids, crime, inflation, and they want to see us take on Joe Biden. Ronna, you left a big problem out of there, that all these things manifest from elections that are stolen. And you have not fixed our election platforms. You've done everything my team's been doing for 3 years. The RNC, she should have been doing for the last 5 years.
The walls look like they're continuing to close in on Ronna McDaniel, who should probably avoid telling anyone else in the party to step aside, because it's giving her fellow Republicans some new ideas.
Looking at the math and the path going forward, and I don't see it for Nikki Haley. I think she's run a great campaign, but I do think there is a message that's coming out from the voters, which is very clear. We need to unite around our eventual nominee, which is going to be Donald Trump, and we need to make sure we beat Joe Biden.
She was saying because everyone's wanting her to resign.